Hey everyone, just checking back in with you. Today is Thursday, July 11th, 2013, and I am at 13 and a half weeks after my ostomy takedown and after activation of my Jpouch. So almost at 3.5 months. So I thought I would check in with you guys and just let you know how things are going, where I'm at, what I'm up to. Last time we talked, I think I was at about 2 months, so it's been about another month and a half. And again, I definitely I'm not feeling like things have leveled off. I'm continuing to feel that things are improving in an upward direction, as always, which is good. I kind of took some notes again, as always, as I'm going, just to kind of put things in perspective a little bit. At week 10, which was about 2.5 months, I was still noticing, continuing to feel back to normal, was having more energy, and that's kind of when I started to feel that I was able to focus on some other things, put some energy into some other endeavors now after the surgeries are done and the rehab from the surgeries done, that sort of thing. I was still noticing nighttime issues at that time too, but was trying not to worry about it too much. And then during weeks 11 and 12, I started noticing I was having worse nighttime accidents. Last time we talked, I think I had told you, originally I was wearing Depends at night just in case, and then I had progressed to just wearing regular underwear with sometime a nighttime liner, just in case. But then the accidents started getting worse and with larger amounts. This was about week 11, 12 again, and I went back to the Depends. So I was getting a little discouraged with that. But kind of around week 12, leading into week 13, I kind of started to look at why I might be having the worst accidents, the frequency at night. And what I kind of figured out is I was eating later in the evening at 7, 8, 9 o'clock. I wasn't really paying attention to too much of when to cut off my food. I wasn't paying attention to how much liquid I was taking in. I just figured, oh, I'm going to eat, I'm going to drink how I want, when I want, and just kind of do what I want. I think that had something to do with it. I also think I had started drinking a lot of iced tea, and the tea I was drinking had caffeine in it. And I think, again, looking back, caffeine in the tea, I'm also a chocoholic. So in the evening, I'd have a few pieces of chocolate. Again, caffeine in the chocolate, with increased water uptake in the evenings. I think that's what led to the larger and more frequent accidents again, because after that, I back things off to, I'm kind of done eating by 6, usually by 7. 6 is kind of hard to finish eating by for the night. So I'm usually done by 6. I might have a little snack, a little something about 8 or 9, but not a lot. I also try to tailor down my liquid intake after 6 or 7. Again, I don't deprive myself per se, but I definitely am conscious of it. I'm not guzzling like a half a cup or a glass of water at 8 o'clock at night. I also, if I'm going to have chocolate or I'm going to have iced tea, things with caffeine, I try to do that in the morning, during the day. I try to be done with that by 4 or 5, because I really do think the caffeine and the liquid had to do with the increase and the amount of the accidents, because once I made those adjustments, things have turned around and gone back to the way they were. I'm having some nights where I don't have any accidents. I still get up, I would say 2 times a night. I kind of wake up like you're turning over, and I wake up and I think, oh, I should probably go to the bathroom so I don't have an accident. I'm not waking up because I had an accident. I'm having a few of those a week. It's not consistent. But if I do have an issue, it's much less. It's, I don't even know how to quantify it, but it's not a large amount of stool leakage. So it's much easier to deal with. And I still see that getting better. Again, I think it's because of the adjustments I made. The daytime right now is either I'm getting used to it as a new normal, or it's becoming more normal. I think in my last video I had said I leave work about 7:30. So I get up in the morning, I go to the bathroom when I get up, take a shower. I was going to the bathroom before I left for work, just because, and then about lunchtime I would go. Now I'm sometimes not even going to the bathroom before I leave for work. I'm just going to the bathroom when I get up in the morning. Then I leave for work, and then around lunchtime I go to the bathroom. And usually before I leave work I'll go. If not, I'll go when I get home. So, you know, during the day, the morning and the work time hours, I'm going maybe twice. Not a big deal. You know, 2 of the times I would say is the evening time when I'm, you know, nighttime when I'm sleeping. And overall, I'm probably going, sorry, that's my phone. Probably going between 6, I would say 6 and 8 times a day. But it really depends kind of on what I'm eating, what I'm drinking. I have noticed I've started to get away from as much of the carby type foods, more just like lean protein, chicken, turkey, salmon, steamed vegetables, fruit, and that tends to thin the output a little more. It's not as bulky. So I think that one might keep my frequency up slightly. It's not interfering with my life. And I also think that may play into nighttime leakage, because the thinner it is, I think the more chance that you could have some leakage that way. So again, still just kind of finding my way, what works for me as things go on. The other big thing I've noticed during week 13, 12 and 13, I finally stopped keeping track of, I was keeping a log basically of how many times I went per day, and I was just really in my head about that. Oh, I want to get this down, you know, to as low as I can, and kind of realized it's going to happen when it's going to happen on its own terms, and in its own time. So I just kind of let that go, and I just feel continually more normal. And part of it, I think, is because I'm not paying as much attention to when I go to the bathroom anymore. Related to the nighttime leakage, I wanted to mention, I never wake up because I have to go to the bathroom. I don't think, maybe once I've woken up because I had to go to the bathroom because I had that feeling that I had to go. That's never happened. It's usually just because I roll over and I wake up and I think, oh, I should probably go to the bathroom, 1, to check and see if I had an accident, and 2, just to go to the bathroom so I don't have an accident. Which I think is kind of a good sign, because eventually as the tone in those muscles continues to change and adapt, and hopefully the leakage goes away completely, I may not be getting up at night to go to the bathroom, which would be nice. Again, like I had said before though, my nurse had said it could take anywhere from up to 8 months for people with the hand-sewn technique like me to have any nighttime leakage issues resolve themselves. So I'm not getting too concerned about it until I start getting towards the 8-month mark. I also noticed in sort of week 13, I feel like the pouch is continuing to change. I notice gas on and off, but it's not gas in the whole intestine, it's gas from things sitting in the pouch, and I think that's a little bit of an indicator of when I need to go to the bathroom, with how much waste is in there. But you know, I started thinking about your small intestine. Normally the peristalsis, or the movement of the gut to move the food through, is normally going through your small intestine, and the small intestine pushes it into the colon. Well, the colon's no longer there, so the very end of my small intestine, which its normal job is to move the food along farther, it needs to change kind of the whole biology there, because now the stool will sit there until I'm ready to go to the bathroom. So in my head at least, that part of the small intestine needs to change its function, and probably on a cellular level, so it's not trying to push food through anymore at the very end there where the pouch is. So that, I would assume, can take a while for the body to adjust to that. Plus it has to start doing more absorption of liquids than it did before. So in my head at least, that's kind of what I think is happening in the pouch. Because I can't really verbalize what I think's going on, but I can just tell because things are feeling more normal. So I think the body is continuing to adjust with that. I've also found out, and I may have mentioned this before, I know you hear a lot of times, oh, you should kind of eat and snack all throughout the day. I think with the pouch, and I had heard this from someone else who has a Jpouch, I think the gentleman from Ireland I had talked to, it's almost better if you're very regimented with your eating. You have breakfast, you have lunch, you have dinner. You might have a little snack in between, but it makes logical sense, and it also makes biological sense, that if you eat at certain times, your gut is gonna work that stuff through, you'll pass it, and then it rests, and then work the next meal through and pass it, instead of your gut constantly working and you're constantly going to the bathroom. So I do try to stick to that pattern as much as I can. I'm actually next week going to be going to a friend's wedding out of the country, and this will be the first real big trip that I've taken since I've had my Jpouch. And that's going to be kind of a little bit of a test, because when you're on vacation, you're not very regimented and organized, and you're eating and drinking later at night and things like that. So that'll be a little bit of a test to see, see how things are going. The medications I'm still taking, again, they're not really medications, they're more supplements. I'm still taking the VSL number 3 probiotic every day. I'm still taking vitamin D3 every day. I still take a multivitamin. The fish oil I should be taking every day. I'm just not religious about taking it. There's no specific reason. It's more just forgetfulness because I'm not in the habit of doing it. But I should be taking it. The fish oil and the D3 especially related to the primary sclerosing cholangitis, the liver disease. The VSL3 also, because people with the liver disease tend to get pouchitis more often, so they found that the VSL3 can help with that sometimes. Just a couple aside things I wanted to mention. The YouTube channel, I just passed over 10,000 views, which is kind of a big deal for me. Obviously, I've been doing these videos since September, so it's nice to see that people are looking at them, and people watch them and then tell other people about them, and I kind of feel like there's a little bit more word of mouth now about the videos. So it's kind of a nice accomplishment to know that you're doing these things and people are actually being able to benefit from them and watch them. And through the videos, I actually had a gentleman out near San Francisco who has primary sclerosing cholangitis, the liver disease, and he also has ulcerative colitis. But his story and my story are kind of flipped. He's had colitis, I forget for how long, but he basically hasn't had any issues with his colitis. He's had issues with his PSC, and he actually just underwent a liver transplant because of his PSC progressing so poorly. And he's doing amazingly well. I've watched some of his videos online, but it was just kind of neat to talk to him because our stories are kind of flipped with the colitis and the PSC. And I still have only met a handful of people that seem to have both diseases. I've talked with a lot of people who have, of course, the ulcerative colitis and are ending up going down this path and ending up with a Jpouch or a permanent ostomy or thinking about it. But I've only met, I think, a handful of people that tend to have both of these diseases. So it's nice to be able to chat with all people that are dealing with this, but it's also nice to see the perspective of the people with the liver disease too, and see kind of what's going on with them. I have an appointment with my Jpouch nurse and my GI at the end of August, just to get caught up with them and check in. I haven't really met with my GI in over a year because I haven't needed to, because I was meeting with the surgeon to go through all of that. So that'll be interesting just to see what he has to say. I also made an appointment, my annual appointment with my hepatologist, the liver doctor, for the beginning of October. And one of the things I wrote down to ask her is, are there people with the PSC, even though it's supposed to be a slow progressive disease, are there people that have the disease that don't progress? Like people with colitis, you have a full range. People that, sorry, the phone again. People that don't have issues, and then people that do have issues and tend to progress. So I want to ask her if there's people out there that have the disease that don't progress, and see what she has to say. I do continue to get questions from people asking me if there really is no urgency with the Jpouch. And for those of you who don't have colitis, and I keep talking about this question because I keep getting it, that's how irritating and annoying and embarrassing the urgency with colitis is, that people continue to ask me about it, even though I continue to reinforce there is no urgency with the Jpouch, at least with mine, and I haven't heard that there is with anyone's. There's a sensation that you have to go to the bathroom, but you can hold it. Before I leave work, if I have to go, I can hold it and walk all the way home and not have an issue. The urgency is completely gone with the Jpouch. So yes, it's true. There is no urgency with it. And I also have had a couple other questions. Is there a correlation between when you have the ostomy and how much you empty the bag versus how often you empty your Jpouch, or how often you go to the bathroom once your ostomy is taken down? I don't think there really is, because I think it's so individual. It depends on the extensibility of your intestine and how large your Jpouch gets. It also is going to depend on what you eat, how much liquid you drink. So I wouldn't try to compare your emptying of your ostomy frequency to how often you're going to have to go to the bathroom after you have your Jpouch. It's just one of those things. You're going to have to just wait and see how things play out. I understand the thought behind wanting to know, because when I had my ostomy, my thought was the same exact thing. Does this mean I'm going to go this often when based on how often I empty my bag? But it's really not. You can't correlate any of that. So the last thing, I guess, is I just want to show you guys an update on my scars. I'm still using that Scar Away that I had talked about in my last video. You have to wear them. They're silicone-based sticky Band-Aids, basically, and you have to wear them at least 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're washable, so one lasts you the whole week. You get up in the morning, you wash it, let it dry, and then you put it on the evening again, or whenever you want to put them on, but I do mine in the evening, so I sleep with them. I think I'm in week 6 or 7, and I think you're supposed to do for 8 weeks, so I only have a couple weeks left. I can tell a really big change in them already. For you folks, you'll probably have to see them now and then flip back to my last video to see if you notice a difference, but I can really tell that there's a difference. So let me adjust the camera and show you the scars. So this is the long scar, and this is where the ostomy was. They're much more faded, especially this one, because this one's the oldest one. This one was done in January. This one was just done in April, so it doesn't look as good as this. But you can even tell the swelling in my abdomen is basically gone, or pretty well gone. But I'm pretty impressed with this. If I go out in the sun, I'll still use SPF over the scars because the dermatologist said to continue to do that for probably up to a year, I think she had said, when you go out. So I think that catches you up on everything. Basically the crux of it all is I'm 3.5 months out. Things are continuing to progress, continuing to improve. I'm still noticing improvements overall when I look back. I definitely don't think that I've leveled off at all. It's nice to be able to be back to a normal way of eating. One of the frustrating things I found with the colitis and the ostomies is you're constantly just adjusting your eating. With the colitis, it was like, oh, I'm in a flare, I need to eat this way. Oh, I'm fine, okay, I can go back to this. The ostomy is the same way. Oh, I just had it done. I have to have a low residue diet for 6 weeks. Oh, now I'm done with the low residue diet. Now I can go back to the way I want to go and the way I want to eat. And it's just up and down, up and down. And now I'm feeling like wherever I finalize with my food, I can stay there. If I want to do more fruits and things like that, and it may increase my frequency, it may make things a little more watery. I don't even mean watery, a little more pudding-esque, I guess. Changes the consistency. Then I'll go ahead and eat that way. It's just much more in my control now, and that is probably the biggest thing with all of this. So I'll probably check in with you again after my appointment at the end of August, so probably the beginning of September. I'll check in again. I hope you all are continuing to have a good summer, and we'll chat soon. Bye.